All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I'm working on some things back from there, so I apologize for that. My tablet is not working, so it's one thing I've been working for the last hour, basically trying to get your questions, and I do apologize, but I am having some serious issues. So I want to make sure, though, I could still go with you guys live stream, and we will just kind of continue the live stream in this kind of format. Hopefully that is going to work for you guys, and I'll try to do my best to answer whatever questions I can possibly do. So, hey, Sheree and Mini Magnet, good to have you on. Cameron, thank you much. Hello, Brian, and hey, and Aroff. How you doing? Chowder. Hi, Professor. How you guys doing? Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on tonight. And I do apologize. I know I don't have the ability to ask questions, and I'm going to have to try to re-download my driver. So I do apologize for that. But I did want to let you guys know of a couple things that has came across that came into my mail, which I was actually really surprised came so quickly in on me. And then also kind of like the little bit of the service kind of change at YouTube for how things did. So anyways, for those of you that have kind of finished your exams, congratulations. I know some people, I did a poll, still have exams coming up after they get back from the winter break. Totally understand. Definitely, guys, take your time over break, relax, enjoy family and everything else. And then obviously when the time is right, you're going to have to, everything that we talked about for getting ready for those exams, for those people that had the exams before the end of the year, you're going to want to make sure that you start doing that. After this week, just kind of slowly start getting ready and prepare from there. But anyways, the big news that I at least wanted to talk in with you guys before I get into just kind of answering any questions that you guys have inside the chat is, yes, the big one, the gold play button has finally arrived. And I did open it, but I'm not going to open it on this live stream. I apologize. That's not the point of the live stream. I did want to let you guys know. And there's a couple things, though, I did want you to kind of take away from this live stream. And the one thing is I am actually going to be releasing a video on Wednesday. So therefore you guys can see you guys will see the YouTube, you'll see it up there. And then next stream, next Sunday, I'll definitely make sure that it's on my wall. But, I wanted to one thing as I was kind of making my video, about kind of like a little unboxing, on the, one of the things that kind of came to me was, I never really was like, I wouldn't say proud of doing it, of, presenting like my play button, but it was never something I wanted to like show off and everything like that. And one of the things I talked about in my email today was really that the idea that I take away from this play button is, it's really a lot of like that dedication, focus, the time, the effort, and putting it into doing the same thing over and over. And then obviously, getting decently good at it, right? I wouldn't say I'm a master of anything, in that regard, like math or videos or anything like that regard. But I would definitely say that, you looking back from my older videos, looking back from now, I've definitely improved my math understanding. I've definitely improved my math instruction, and I've definitely improved my, video taking skills. And I think that's really important for a lot of students, that they get frustrated when they don't understand math. They get frustrated when they feel like they can't understand math or they can't be good at math. And I think for all of those things, which I can resonate with, especially on the understanding math front, but, as far as like the online videos and all those kind of things, like, I put in the time, I put in a lot of time, I put in a lot of effort. And I think it's really important when you guys see me, maybe do a math problem and it's like, oh, wow, that looks, so easy. And maybe you had no idea how to do the problem. There's a lot of time that's behind that. And there's a lot of effort, and there's a lot of times I didn't want to do things that I was showing up for that. So I think it's really important that I want to display my gold play button as well as my silver play button, which I do have. I've just never displayed it. And to really kind of, let you guys know that, if you are really determined and you have the kind of the will that you guys can, you can achieve what you want. You can be good at mathematics. You can understand math. And I know that's not everybody's, purpose and reasoning as far as, needing math help or understanding math. And that's kind of a little bit for a different story. But I think it's really important for you guys to really kind of see that, if I can achieve a gold play button, then definitely you guys can pass your math class. You guys can achieve your own gold play button. There's really anything you guys want. And it's just really that kind of that dedication, that persistence and the focus to really just kind of get things done. So I really wanted to thank you guys for, kind of being there, showing up on my live streams on Sunday night. And I know some of you guys are school is done and, you will just hop on and just say thank you. I really do appreciate that because, this is week 103 for my Q&As. And I think it's amazing. That's, almost 2 years that I've been consistent going on every Sunday. I think I've made every Sunday. I think maybe there's been two Sundays that I kind of, I don't know, couldn't make it for whatever reason. And then, then I had to go like on the, then I did like a Monday or something like that. So either way, but yeah, that's, just want to let you guys know, again, thank you. I'll have that unboxing video coming in on Wednesday. All right. Hi, John. I got a 95 on my 8th grade. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. Or a 95, right? Hi, John. Hello. And, what did Ryan say? 05. I don't know. Yeah, I'll try to take as many questions as I can from the chat. My tablet literally is not working. So there's nothing I can do. And Arab, I did see your question. I can maybe even try to see if I can tell you, or maybe even write it into the chat on what to do on yours. Cause I did have yours. I wasn't able to, as I was like working on there. I did some setting kind of change and then I had to try to re-download everything and nothing was working out. And now it's just being all funky. So I don't know what to do. So I do apologize for that, but that is kind of my current status. But I can definitely go ahead and try to put that back up or at least that question for you and try to help you at least on that way. I think I saw. Yeah, I did. Okay, I did take your question from there, and I don't think there was any more from there. All right, you host fan. Well, thank you. Well, I'm very happy to help you out, Matthew. And hello, Shrey. I got a 94 on the general mathematics and only 90 at basic calculus. Huge gap. I don't want to say it's a huge gap. I think that's good. I mean, I think you're in a really good, setting right there. I mean, depending, it's like, again, I wouldn't put too much weight on just on the grades. Grades don't say everything about where you stand and from on there. No, so I'm not using a different camera. What I'm doing is I actually just zoomed out a little bit and I never wanted to use the fully zoom out. The problem that I had with the zoom out was, why is it not working? There you go. Oh, well, whatever. Everything's not working for me tonight. I was just trying to like not get as like close. So when I was doing some of my videos last week, I just tried to get a little bit farther away. So that's basically how it is. So maybe it looks a little bit crisper because it's a little bit like zoomed out. All right, Ryan, get a cookie from there. Oh, that's kind of weird, I think. But yeah, I can definitely go through any of your question because I did get it, and then it's far longer than the height. Did you? Nope, don't have that. You have managed to finish my fall packet and review for my final. Well, awesome. So happy to help. MR, so I do not teach inside the classroom anymore. This year, actually, I stepped away for the first time. So yeah, I am just kind of going back through my old math content and trying to create some more videos, basically from on there. So so yeah, I'm trying to just go through Algebra 1 all the way through Calculus and just kind of go back through a lot of content. Some of the videos I have are like, I haven't taught in like 10 years, and like there's still some of the videos are still like cranking through, like getting some views, but I like to like update a lot of those. As I kind of mentioned in the beginning, what was I saying? Yeah, like as I've kind of gone through the years, obviously I'd feel like my instruction and explanations have improved. So I want to go back through and like update some videos. Charmaine, so I'm not able to go through my questions. I apologize for that. What I would recommend doing though is graphing that, which is going to be at I'm sorry, not graphing it, but factoring it. And if you factor that, that should be at a 2x minus 3. So therefore you're going to have zeros at 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 3. I'm sorry. No, that'd be 2x minus 3. No, sorry. You're going to have your vertex, actually. That's going to be at 2x minus 3 quantity squared. So therefore, you're going to have a vertex, I believe, would be at the 0. And so that should be all real numbers. So I would just look at the graph. And then when it says, less than 0, that doesn't look like there's going to be any solutions less than 0. So what you're going to want to do is graph it. And what you should see is that graph is going to be above the x-axis. So therefore, being less than 0 looks like it should be no solutions. X to the 12th term. Oh, because you have 5x to the cubed. I have a lot of questions. Tom, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Charmaine. So hopefully, Charmaine, that made sense for you. I didn't provide it for anyone. But anyways, if you factor that, you get 2x minus 3 quantity squared, and that's going to be the vertex. So the graph is just shifted 3/2 to the right, but it should have a vertex on the x-axis. So everything is above there. I don't have my math thing to kind of work through this, but what is the x to the 12th term? So basically, you're just going to take your, I would just do the, binomial expansion and just kind of go all the way from there. Just make sure you're also using Pascal's triangle, but I have a ton of those videos on binomial expansion if you just search my channel, Thomas. Unfortunately, today I am not able to do any math on my whiteboard. Sorry, guys. Thanks, Connor. I got my Detroit Lions today with their win number 2. Was not expecting to be able to check the score today and see the Detroit Lions beat the Arizona Cardinals. That was amazing. So I am getting the check, but yeah, what was the other team? It was a Saints or Bucks, but otherwise going for my Florida team, I'd just go for the Bucks. Fine. The solving, you're basically looking for the x-axis. Do you have any videos about matrices? Actually, I do not, but I'm looking forward to making some. I don't know. I think my hair, maybe I'll have to like turn around. You guys can see. I think I'm still losing a little bit more hair, but I appreciate it. Do you know how to do polar graphs? Yeah, it's not something I spend a lot of time with my students, at least as far as in terms of pre-calculus. So I used to do it a little bit. I might have a couple videos on it, and that's probably something I'll maybe go through. I don't know. I never thought it was like a big important thing I wanted my students to be able to know, at least in their curriculum. It usually kind of took a little bit longer. I wanted them to understand polar coordinates and polar equations and kind of get that relationship, but we didn't really focus too much on the polar graphs. So I think if you have at least a good understanding of polar equations and polar points, then depending on how deep you're going to go into the polar equations. But I think it's always important to kind of know from the table format how it looks. And then obviously, hopefully you have access to a graphing calculator. That's always useful as well, because that's basically what we would do in my classes, utilize a lot with the graphing calculator. So I don't have any live classes on that I'm teaching. I'm just teaching on YouTube, but I do have a couple extra live streams that I did add that I am going to plan on doing. So if you guys go and take a look at in the description, I do have a couple other options that I'm looking into, like testing out, see how I might be able to do it for the new year. So as I kind of mentioned, I was going to do an extra pre-calculus and a algebra 2 extra live stream. And then also in my membership, for all of you that have kind of been supporting from members, I'm also planning on doing like an extra membership live stream. So therefore, just to kind of help students in that regard. Well, happy to be able to help you out, the pigeon. Come on. No king. He might have just showed up late. It is right here, but it came in the mail, and I did already open it up. But that video is coming on Wednesday, so I'm gonna have to keep you in on that. It's actually a pretty cool video. It's not just an unboxing video. It is part unboxing. Obviously, I released the video. I released that and go from there. But it's not just unboxing. That's actually hopefully a pretty cool video you guys will enjoy. But that'll be coming out on Wednesday, and then from there on, you guys will see it in the back. They can be. I think the logarithms, mostly students just have a trouble because they don't understand logarithms. But I think once you kind of have an understanding of them and, how their relationship is with, exponential, then it gets a little bit easier from there. You're going to basically, when you're solving, you want to look into graphing it. And I would just recommend graphing that like an equation. And then the y is greater than, and then using test points. And if your test point's positive, then all the other points above or below the line are going to be true. And the test point is false. That means all the points above or below the line are also going to be false. So definitely graph it. Yes, but I haven't spent a lot of time for that. Yeah, they just take time. There was actually a proof that I was going to do today, and it's a fairly basic proof, but it's been a while since I took a proofs class, which I took in college, and it's just really kind of formatting your argument and laying it out in a systematic way that I think is very important for actually everybody to be able to learn. Not just about math, but really just about having conversations and having arguments and, justifying what you're saying and debates and everything like that. So it's a really important communication tool that I think a lot of times we just kind of gloss over. And I don't really think we always do it like full justice from on there. But yeah, it becomes difficult because there's no like right answer. It's not like solving an equation, right? Where you just do one step and then you do the next step. Yes, a lot of proofs are, it still can be, you're doing this or you're going to lay them out in the same way. But a lot of the way that we approach them or write them and can be different. So that gets confusing a lot for students. You're very welcome, Trey. It happens. Hopefully you listened to my tips. That was in my short where I said just at least do the first problems you know how to do first. I know it sucks to be able to fail a math test, but don't worry. Your grade is not going to be defined, or your life is not defined by one test. And everything that it sucks because I failed the math test too. So I'm not coming from a teacher perspective of saying you should have done better, you should have known more. I'm coming from I've failed a math test and struggle with math too. So I'm going to have another video coming after the break. I think it's really important for you to understand. And basically what it's just saying is like, no matter how you did on your exam, you have to go back and reflect it, right? You have to go back and look at what you learned, what you didn't learn, what you got right and what you got wrong. Like that's extremely important for you to reflect on that process. So I'll have a video that goes into more depth, but I think it's really important to just don't just give up on that, old test. Like all that information is going to come back. And I've had students that have failed the first semester and then got an A the second semester. Right. And I'm not saying just listen to me and that's what's going to happen. But my point that I want to bring to you is, you can overcome a lot of your struggles from that first semester. So once you get that, make sure that you go back, review those problems and keep practicing and keep moving on, and you can do it. Well, thank you very much. Hey, I'm going to be doing AP Calc after winter break. Is there any topics I should focus on getting better at before? I'm going to do AP Calc after winter break. Oh, interesting. I'm not sure if you're taking the AP exam. Wow, that's, I guess maybe AB and just thrown in there. I mean, I think a lot of the, trig is going to be very important. You're going to want to your trig, a lot of like your rational expressions, factoring. It's just AP Calc just brings in so much that previous stuff that you're going to want to remember and know. So, I mean, I would just go back through a lot of the algebra 2. If you could just do a quick good review of like algebra 2, the exponents and logarithms and graphing. Graphing's really important. Factoring, trig, just a lot of that stuff. It just comes up, and then it just there's just so much that comes up in the AP curriculum. I do not know. We didn't teach we didn't have an IB pre-calculus. We had a ACE pre-calculus, but I am familiar with the hyperbolas, but I'd have to go and see. You'd have to go and submit the question for me to go ahead and take a look at. But yeah, I didn't teach. We do have actually IB in our district, but they never had it at our school. But anyways, by the way, guys, if you do have questions, I am not going to be able to do the questions tonight. However, you can still go ahead and, I know obviously if you have a test or something coming up this week, that's not going to help you. But if you'd like me to cover it next week, I'm assuming I'll be able to get things done by then. And or you can definitely go ahead and head over to Discord, which, oh my God, I cannot believe I did not post my Discord link. What is wrong with me? So therefore, if you guys do need help on over break, if your teacher gave you like a winter assignment, which I don't think I ever did. I don't believe. It's not that I don't believe in there. I really just always like to push my students when they're in class, and then when they're out of the class, like it's kind of hard to control what they're able to do, right? So I just never, I never saw like students would really. Oh, I did have it pinned. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so it is in a pinned comment, but also I just made a comment from there. So yeah, actually there was another question in there. So I stepped away from the classroom for kind of multiple reasons. One of them was just really, I wanted to spend a lot more time kind of creating, like kind of working on my channel. So, as the channel grows and as, there's a lot of content that I want to create. And so it became a lot. I used to work all the time at nights on my YouTube channel, and I'd wake up in the morning, and then having 3 kids now at home, I just don't have the time to work on the channel. I'm exhausted at night. And so it was really kind of like a time constraint. That was one thing. Another thing was, really kind of taught everything at my high school. I really wanted to teach more content outside of just pre-calculus and algebra 2 and geometry and algebra 1. Like I taught AP calculus before as well, but there's much more math that I want to go into and create videos on and like explore and go back and relearn. So that was definitely something that also kind of factored in. I just don't have the time, right? If I'm working, teaching, and then not only teaching, but then trying to do the YouTube channel, like I don't have time to make more videos on stuff that's not going on in the classroom. And or also to even go back and learn things. And then the third thing was really just the kind of state of education as it kind of is at, not making any kind of political stance or anything from one way, but really just kind of the idea, like it was really hard teaching with masks, really hard. And I saw that with the students, I saw it with myself, and that really wasn't a determining factor, but it just kind of made me like, I really lost a lot of sense and enthusiasm. And I went back to teaching because I didn't want to like just give up, then like I was probably made my decision at the end of right before COVID, but I wanted to return because I knew it was going to be a hard year, and I didn't really feel like that was the right time to kind of step away. And I kind of still felt like I still had a little like juice, to kind of keep the teaching going. But from that beginning of the year, it just nothing felt right. It just didn't feel in place. So it wasn't really per se because of COVID or because of masks, but that definitely didn't improve keeping me wanting to be in the classroom. It was a very difficult year. And obviously for many of you all know, your teachers know, and I know this year it's probably been a lot of the same. But it's, it was just, a lot of kind of all 3 of those factors and probably a couple other ones that I haven't mentioned, kind of just factor into it. All right. Find the amount of tax for an item like 7% or $20. I definitely have some videos on percents. From there, I don't really have time to go through on all this, but I definitely have some of there. Yes, thank you. Well, you're very welcome, Ange. What's the even point on imaginary numbers? And what's it even? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Hey, Ruth. What are some good studying tips? I'm a freshman in college and I'm having a hard time studying. Should I constantly review things? Yes, I think you should be doing math daily, and I will be bringing back the math challenge. So if you guys remember, I think in March I did like a math challenge last year, and it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna probably make some updates and everything for it, and then but yeah, so I'll look into doing a kind of math challenge with you guys. So therefore, you guys can I think you should be doing math daily. And you should, we used to, I remember when I was in high school and college, like we were supposed to do your homework like the day of, right? And I think between those, especially in college, if you have it like only every other day or, twice a week or 3 times a week, like try to be doing something every single, even if it's a couple problems, even if it's just reviewing your notes, but try to keep that fresh and constant, because I think for a lot of students, it's very difficult to just say, okay, now I'm going to do math, right? And then you might have already forgot how to do things. And I can tell you so many times, I remember looking at my notes being like, what is this? I do not, like, I remembered how to do it in class, and then I go home and I completely forgot. So I think the more consistent that you're looking through your notes, the better and easier it's going to be for you. Yes, they take a little practice. It was my gold play button, which I will do a video on Wednesday for you guys. It's okay. You got it. You'll get right back into it. I cannot do that. I cannot answer this. My answer cannot do justice. There are some amazing videos on YouTube as far as like the purpose and how real imaginary numbers come through. So I would definitely go and watch those. Some great YouTubers have done some great videos for that. We'll happy to be able to help you out. Radical Productions. The best way I would at least kind of give you for on that would just be able to look into comparison to logarithms with exponential, just to kind of give you, I don't have time to kind of go through anything more in detail, but I think if you just kind of understand that relationship, that's a good starting point. No, I hate biology because I hated remembering all the vocab. Wish you the best of luck. I don't know, flashcards. I appreciate the help from Matthew, but yeah, I would just go through flashcards and just trying to remember things, trying to find little things that you can remember rather than trying to remember the whole definition, things that your brain can attach to. But besides that, I hated biology. What did I want to teach? I just like math and I like teaching. So that's why I came kind of the perf one. No, I would just go through all of your calculus stuff. Again, go back through your notes, go back through your quizzes, go back through your tests, and keep updated with it. I used to teach at Mandarin High School in Jacksonville, Florida, but I don't teach there anymore. I stepped away from the classroom this year. I think just practice, mental math. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of like techniques online, books and whatever else to like learn how to do a lot of mental math. But otherwise it just comes down to practice, like one of the things I want to get better at is speed reading, right? And so I could read a book like in 10 minutes, but I mean, it takes practice, guys. It's not just like, oh, here's how you do it and then you're done. Like you have to be consistent in practicing with it. That's the whole point of me putting my gold play button on the wall. It's like, I do math every single day, right? I don't even have to teach, right? And I'm doing math. I make a YouTube video or a TikTok video about math every single day, right? So I'm not smart, I'm not great at math, but it's like when you're consistently doing work like that, you're gonna get better at it. I think what I'm gonna be doing is, I decided if you go and take a look, if you click on the link below in the description, I should have done it correctly. I didn't actually have time to check my links because we had like a little family get together today, but it should take you to the second Wednesday of every month, or at least second Wednesday in January. I'll have to update that for later, but it should get you for the second Wednesday. All right. Well, thank you, John. Happy Merry Christmas. I'm not sure what your anchor points. I'd have to go back and look from there. But again, guys, I'm not able to get your questions because I lost my ability to use my pen for today. So I do apologize, but everything is not working. So if what you guys can do, though, is definitely go ahead and utilize my Discord link that is pinned inside the comments. And you guys can go and at least, hopefully go and ask questions from there as much as you guys need. You are very welcome. Oh, I already answered that one. Huh. My teacher resigned for teaching, and I'm afraid a new teacher won't teach as well as my old teacher. Will I pull through? I mean, I hope so. That was the hardest thing about teaching that I think stepping away from myself is, I know I enjoy teaching. I mean, obviously I only stepped away because I knew I wasn't as into it as I possibly could have been or should have been or wanted to be in. But I also knew that, it was always hard to what teacher was going to, step in and obviously, again, I know there's amazing teachers out there that do a great job at my school and like my district and everything else. So it's, but I also know the impact of, when students have like a poor teacher and not so much in math, but I know in like other courses, like it has a huge impact. And that's why I've kind of always felt like the most important thing is for students to have a quality teacher that they can relate to, that they can be inspired by, that encourages, motivates, and improves their like creativity and their ability to like learn and to keep trying. And you can have a teacher that does the exact opposite of that, and that can really put a damper on your education and your trajectory in your life. So it's a pretty serious deal. And that was my hardest thing for me stepping away, was not knowing what my former students, not former, but my should have been students were going to get. And, I taught at a great school with great teachers. So I know they probably came through and got a great teaching, but it's tough. And I think the main thing is, again, don't let it. It doesn't matter if you have a great teacher or not teacher, like you still are in control of what you're able to learn and what you're going to learn. So don't let a bad teacher hold you back. But it definitely can make the road a lot more difficult if you don't have that teacher that was as good as your old teacher. But again, I mean, that's kind of also as life, right? You're not always going to have the best teachers that you always relate to that make your life, wonderful. Like I've taken many classes where I did not like the teacher. I did not like the course, right? So, take it a little bit with a grain of salt as well. I would just look into graphing quadratics and like kind of using transformations and use the same thing. All right, guys, I got to go through. Oh, God, we have a lot of questions. You are very welcome. Quadrid. Is there any advice you'd give someone who wants to be a math teacher? Yeah, do it. I think being a math teacher is amazing. I think the one thing that always kind of kept me inside the classroom was, the making math, I wouldn't say coming alive, but creating a lesson where students got engaged. And that's the one thing I kind of miss too, is like my ability to be able to, teach and create like, the worst thing you can do is have students that, your job is to keep students engaged. Right. And one of the things I always thought about when students are like, oh, well, people are grabbing their phones and they shouldn't be able to have phones in the classroom or grab their phones or they shouldn't be sleeping. I'm like, those are all 100% true. But also, you should have such an engaging lesson that they don't want to sleep. They don't want to grab their phone and everything else. And I know that's, obviously a little bit of like hoopla. Like, of course, not every day and every single lesson is going to be like that. But I always try to think about ways where I can approach a lesson where students would do that, and like, so when I saw them grabbing their phone or wanting to fall asleep, I realized, I missed the mark, right? I want them to be able to be so engaged or so inspired to want to learn what we were learning that day, that they wouldn't want to do that. And so I think that's always, the thing is like creating lessons that you enjoy, that is going to make math that's fun for you to teach. And there's absolutely no better feeling I think that I had is like just having one of those days where you just have a great lessons. Everything's, going great. And obviously there's days where you have horrible lessons, right? But I think I just enjoying helping students learn math, and also enjoying just teaching math, and like making those connections. It's definitely something that I miss extremely amount. And like I said, I kind of went through my three, things. Not everything was me with like where education is or, stuff like that. I mean, there was a lot of personal reasons again why, I had to step away, but I would definitely not support, encourage you to step into the field. All right. Well, you're very welcome. Ty, have you done anything with discrete math? Yeah, but not many videos on there. I will be looking into that. Yes, water is wet. A study tip from my math after class, find the time to review. And examples from class, if you're not understanding the lecture, you need to go to the prof. Yes, I would definitely agree with that. And I told students all the time to stay after school. If you don't understand something, stay after school. Get help. Go to whatever. Do something. Very okay. You got it. Best of luck. Who are the mathematicians that I admire? I should have picked out of this. I'd have to go and think a little bit more on that. As far as that's a big question. I have to go back and actually, I've never really thought as far as admired. I'd have to get back to you on that one. I'd have to go in a little bit more and my really kind of think a little bit deeper into who did admire back on from there. I have to look at that. Well, thank you, Jesus. Yeah, good. Well, yeah, my views do not get a lot of views. I've been doing math videos through the summer, so I'm just kind of used to it. I just kind of make videos and get ready, prepared for the upcoming school year, and that's basically what I'll be doing. It can be. I would definitely make sure that you have your Algebra 2 all set and ready to go, and that will definitely ease the pain for you on that. I like it. Yeah, it can be. I never made my students memorize really anything in pre-calculus. I always gave them either a cheat sheet or I wrote whatever formulas on the board. Geometry was a little bit different. Geometry, I think, was horrible kind of in the biology sense where there's so much to remember and memorize and formulas and theorems and stuff like that. But in my pre-calculus, I don't know. I tried not to have my students memorize a whole bunch. I apologize for that. I would reach out to Carson, or there's probably a reason. And if there wasn't, then you can reach out to myself or the or the admin on the server. Yes, it is. It's not a cake job. You definitely you gotta be ready for it. I was quarantined. Well, I'm not in quarantine anymore, but I remember when we did, at least in 2020, I hated quarantine. It was very difficult, but but for this right now, I live in Florida, which is relatively open. We'll see how kind of the new virus comes around. It did, and it's right here. And I'll do an unboxing video, and a kind of a celebratory unboxing. I'll do that this Wednesday, so you guys will see that. It's coming up. Because I figured if I was going to do a non-math video, I might as well do a non-math video when most of you guys are not taking math. So then hopefully maybe you'd enjoy it and not be like, hey, crap, this guy's trying to make me learn math. I can't because I got to see why you're banned. So I have no idea what the context is. I don't know if there's a way for you to always like math. I would recommend, I did do a video on get motivated to do math. And one of the points that I made is the more you kind of learn about math, the more you can kind of enjoy it. And I kind of realized that, might kind of sound a little stupid, if you don't like something, but there's a lot of reasons why people don't like things. And, one is how they're used, how they're used and everything like that. So, I'd maybe check out that video and kind of see if you can maybe make some connections. One of the points that I made was when I was learning the trombone, I just wanted to play music. And if you're starting out using basic, playing basic notes and songs like Old MacDonald, it's not very fun. And you can quickly get bored and then quit. And that's why a lot of students did quit in the band. It's why am I doing this? This is stupid. This is not fun. But then it's once you really learn how to play an instrument or a sport or whatever really well, you actually start to enjoy it. And same thing with math. I didn't really like math, but the more I learned about math, the more I was wow, I actually really, really love this topic. And I didn't love math until I was in college. So, it wasn't until I was after my calculus series, I was I actually really, really enjoy this stuff. So I was pretty old and it took a while, right? I didn't have a natural thing for wanting to love math. Awesome. Congrats. Yeah, pretty much. I was pretty laid back. From that, but I was a pretty chill. I would say I was a pretty chill student, but I didn't take a lot of bull crap. If you, one thing I was told students, if you caught me cheating or if you're talking back to me, you crossed me once, that's fine. You're going to cross me but that's, once you lose my trust or lose my respect, not my respect. I always gave students, I know it's tough being a teenager, so I always gave students the benefit of the doubt, because I know there's a lot that's going on in high school, and so you could definitely have a bad day, and I would still treat you the exact same the next day, right? So, but I didn't like students when they were disrespectful, talking when I was talking, playing on their phone, cheating. Those are kind of big no-nos that I tried to do in the group. But I think as far as as long as you were respectful with myself, and I was always pretty chill, at least I always like to think I was. So maybe there's a student of mine on, who knows? Probably not, because they're like, why is this guy on? We don't have class. Cool. YouTubers say, I don't know, I could be like Mr. Beast and make like millions of dollars every month if I made some really good videos, right? But yeah, it all depends, right? I mean, there's also even teachers that make a lot of money. Like, depends on where you live, right? So I mean, it's a very open go from there. You got it. I have a question. How do you read cotangent, tangent, secant, and cosine graphs? I'm not really sure what you mean how you read. I mean, just make sure you know the characteristics of them, and then work from left to right. Let's do that. Shipment says, tips and tricks, please, how to learn faster on math. Good question. That's actually a good title of a video. Learn math faster. I think the main thing about learning math is like knowing what you already know and then breaking it down into small chunks. And into those, and then practicing those things over and over, right? I think a lot of times people just want to jump to the more difficult stuff, but I think it's really that refinement of knowing exactly what you need, of the basics and relating to what you already know, and then going over from there. But I'd have to think a little bit more about it, a little bit more advanced stuff for that. Just I'd make sure you know all those properties and the rules. Go through them, practice them one more time, right? Some of those problems can get kind of like messy, so maybe do a couple harder ones and just to kind of refine your skills. I had a pre-calculus, so it was way harder. Yeah, I mean, I took pre-calculus in college as well. I mean, I think it is what it is. Yes, then I would 100% agree with that. If I could like it on this one, I would. Well, awesome. Help you out. Yes, totally agree. Usually people go, oh, wow. So I'm also going to end up watching YouTube or calculus test. I hate going back to virtual. I know it's so tough for you guys. I do apologize for that. But I mean, I know obviously it's, decisions are being made for just, for the reasons, but, that's why I want to go back through, redo a lot of my content and stuff around there. So hopefully you can still get that learning experience, at least you've been inside the classroom a little bit. So you at least hopefully have a relationship with your teacher and your other students. So it's not going to feel like a complete lost year, but, hopefully you can kind of get a good experience for the rest of the year. If it is end up being remote, virtual, whatever, or hybrid. Yes, many times. I wouldn't really say lost it, like gotten mad, but yes, I would. Oh, actually, there was a couple times. There's been many times. Actually, many of my videos, people will call me out. They're like, "You're rude. Like, you're not a nice teacher." But a lot of times it would be like a student wasn't paying attention, or they, like I would teach something like maybe the fourth, fifth time, and like I knew they weren't paying attention, and then they'd ask the same question, and like my patience would just be up to the top. But yeah, a lot of times too, students just didn't get something, even if they were trying to pay attention. They were trying to understand. They're doing everything I asked them to do, but it just was not connecting. And sometimes, guys, that's normal. That's okay. It just takes time sometimes, and so that's a really hard thing for students, I think, to accept. That then you're not always going to understand everything. Like Lennox said, like you got to be able to ask for help. But I also think it's important to give yourself some leeway. It's okay if you don't understand something. It's okay if things are not connected. Keep on practicing, come back to it, and you can understand things. There's I think a big thing as far as like the maturity of when students should be able to know math. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, I failed my math test, or like I failed my midterm, or you might not have been ready to learn that material. Maybe, it's like, that's okay. It's, it's not that you failed a midterm. You're now a stupid student. You're not good at this course and you're never going to be able to be successful in it. Like maybe you just didn't have the foundation that you need. Maybe you just need a little bit more time to mature your brain. Like who knows what may be the case. And that's not the case for everybody, but I think it's important to give yourself some time, you know. Hey Cruiser. Semester your videos always helpful. Well, you are very welcome. Thank you. I will plead the fifth on that one. There's definitely been some funny and weird thing. I'm not really sure funny. I mean, I kind of feel like I've been outside the classroom for like 10 years now because I can barely remember anything. But there's definitely been some funny, probably not YouTube censored moments had in the classroom, or just things that have happened or things that have been said. So definitely some good memories from there. What? You can go ahead and submit your questions into the Discord. I'm not going to be able to get to the math tonight. Sorry, guys. It's okay. Nerves are normal. It's okay. Just do the best. You got this. Well, hey, Lewis. That would be really quickly. Depends on what you mean by optimization. If you're looking at calculus, from on there, or, even if you're looking at the parabola, but you're basically looking, if you kind of think of like a quadratic, optimization, like there's that vertex, which is the point, right? So that's what you're basically trying to find. And you can either use this in a algebra 2 sense optimization, or you could also look at it in a calculus using the derivative. But that is a very quick definition without me going over any examples. Best of luck. It's a good question. I think I would actually, and one thing I've always thought about, I really would like to be like an architect. It's a really weird question. A really weird answer that probably you're not expecting. But I really love like drawing and like creating designs and stuff like that. And actually I took like engineering when I was in high school, and I just loved like the design aspect of like architecture. And like obviously I'm a realtor, so I've seen a lot of like architecture and real estate, and I just love going and seeing homes and that'll part of it. So yeah, I would actually, I even do designs even at home. I still I'd like to design our own house, one day. And, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I have this little itch of like loving design and CAD and doing all that kind of stuff. So that's maybe, I don't think I'd ever put in the time and actually do it, but if I was going to go back, that may be where I'd be. Good question though. Hey, Andrew, when digital started, I understood for a few months. Once I got into the subject, I couldn't matter. Yes, I totally agree. Digital was very, very difficult to get into. Can you give me teacher advice on how to pass pre-calc? Just practice every day. Create cheat sheets for every single chapter. Study those cheat sheets every day. Do all your homework. Ask, and again, when you don't understand something, get help. Get a study partner. Get a study group. Go to your teacher. Do whatever you got to do, but do not just assume. Do not just like let your misunderstanding go by. Like make sure you get help when you need it. How do you prefer for these? Oftentimes on tests, I find there are slightly greater knowledge. Yep. So yeah, this is the classic, like teacher never taught this. He just makes it hard on the test. You got to find challenging problems and practice those, right? Go like look online or go in the problems in the back of the book. Like there's always challenging problems. Hopefully your teacher maybe gives like old exams or old tests and like find those most difficult problems and practice them. And that's really that's the best way I think I can do is like try to find those more difficult type exam type questions, right? That aren't exactly just regurgitating the stuff that you've learned in class. So try to find more examples or ask your teacher for some, they might have more access to that they'd be willing to share. I'm good, Dina. There's a lot to know, memorize, and you can't be around. Well, it depends. Not all math has to be exact and applicable. There's a lot of math, where approximate is okay. So, it kind of depends on the math. And I think that's a big push that we try to push with students is like, it has to be done this way. It has to be exact. And I think there's, obviously there's a lot with that, like engineering and applied mathematics, but there's a lot of just like, I think there should also be a little bit more flexibility in mathematics in the educational realm than we give it to. And I think hopefully students would actually relate to it and like math better if there was a little bit more flexibility in how we describe things and how we do things. Not saying like you can't undo do the order of operations however you want to, but how you can maybe like talk about math and describe math and do some math, like, and just kind of like exploring a little bit more than like this rigid have to do this, then that. No, I do not work at a school anymore. This is kind of what I do. It's kind of weird and going through. So yeah, unfortunately I stepped away from the classroom after 14 years. I always think about it. So my daughters go to school and like they don't go to school, they go to a daycare, but I was thinking about like when they're growing up, like wouldn't it be cool to like go back and be a teacher? And I mean, obviously, I already feel so distant from teaching. Like I see teachers as going into the school. To be honest with you, I just don't see myself going back into that environment. Even once my kids are like grown up, I loved teaching for what it was and for the 14 years that I was a teacher. But I also kind of feel of it as like a period of my life that was a period of my life. And, I don't think I can go back and change or recreate it. It was there. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And I feel like I stepped away at the right time where I can say I'm happy with those 14 years. And I think just moving on, I just want to kind of, move on to other things, better, worse, but just keep on moving forward. And I think that's another thing that, I mentioned in that resignation video, or somebody asked me about as well. I was like, yeah, I just want to keep on like, challenging myself. And it's not like teaching wasn't a challenge, because it was definitely a challenge, but looking for a different challenge, looking for different challenges and different things that I could do and explore. So I don't think I could see myself going back to the classroom in any regard, except for like a guest appearance. And I think that'd be pretty fun. Would you go back and like teach a class, right? Or show up at some school and like teach a classroom. I would like that. I think that'd be fun. I don't think becoming a teacher is hard, but being a teacher is definitely hard. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure. Good luck. You got this. Really, really bright lights. It can be. It all depends. Not so much. I mean, it's just a lot of studying, from on there. A lot of people had trouble with the math portion, which obviously I didn't do as bad with the math. But besides that, it's just, it's a lot of situational stuff, and it's a lot of studying. You should join my pre-calculus class. I'm just joking. I always love when people ask that. You got to get help. Go to your teacher, go to your friends. Like you should stay after school every single day, right? Obviously, if you do need some extra resources, like I do have a math course, but like you should be doing those things before I'd even say, like the last thing I'd want you to be like, oh, let's go and check on my math course. No, because you need to be staying after school. You need to be going to your teacher, right? And if all those things for whatever reason are not working, then yes, of course, like there's my course, or there's tons of other like resources that are available to you. But in reality, you got to get help from your teacher, from people that are in your class. Like you got to be doing the work. You got to be asking questions, going and finding some videos, or just thinking my videos or my resources or anybody else's are going to save you. You got to make sure you're doing what you need to be doing for the class. And I would definitely start with speaking to your teacher first. No, they're in pre-K 3 is the oldest one. So I got a 10-month, 4-year-old and a 5-year-old. So they are not at the homework stage just yet, but we'll be getting there. Why do most teachers throw graded papers on the trash? It kind of annoys me. Yeah, that's horrible. I always pass back my papers. Everything I always pass back. So I don't agree with that at all. I think if you did your work, you should definitely get that back. Well, so happy to help you out. Great question. That is a great question. I should make a video on that. Well, awesome. Happy to help you out. Kind of like Calc 1, kind of like Calc 3, a little bit, kind of in between. Study, do practice problems, create a cheat sheet and review it. Do as many practice cheat sheets as you possibly can. Download exams, go buy books, whatever. Do as many practice problems as you possibly can. Try to start maybe like a month or two before and just do problems every single day. Good luck with that. That's horrible. Sorry about that. Well, thank you, Vincent. Well, obviously, yes, I have, YouTube, does pay at least from there. So, obviously I have diversified things. So, in there, but yeah, that's kind of at least the nice blessing, with not having to rely at least on the public school, kind of things. But again, like YouTube is up and down and, so yeah, there's multiple different things. Like I said, I still sell houses. Right. There's different things. Sell courses and everything else. Like you got to diversify, from on there. And, who knows how things will go. Well, thank you very much. I was so tired and I was just going to plan on going live for like 30 minutes today, but, I really appreciate, you guys and always asking questions. Nice. Congrats. We don't talk about ELA. We have not talked about ELA. Right. Well, pre-calculus is not going to get into much calculus, maybe except for the limit, whereas calculus is actually going to go into the essence of the curriculum or understanding of calculus. Practice, look at as many examples and practice examples that you've already seen. If you've already seen something written out, try to practice it over. Brad, I have not seen Charles. Well, thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. Somebody saying mathematics. So the method you around high school and college without you. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Just one question for you. I've always loved math and numbers, but the way my teachers teach it, it makes it boring for me. They teach it too slow and not fun to listen. So yeah, forget about your teachers. Like there's so many great math content now that you can get excited about mathematics. Like, I would just explore, find a channel, find a website, there's so many great resources out there, where you can get excited about learning mathematics. And so my channel is not really geared to that. My channel is really about helping people, struggle with math. Cause that's kind of like where I came from, like a struggling perspective. And obviously my videos are not just always helping people struggle with math. But, I'm teaching and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people that have their channels, like as far as teaching the beauty and the essence of mathematics. I would definitely go and check those out. Those can definitely give you a better and broader perspective of just like memorize this and do this. It's boring, right? I get it. Has being a teacher taught you a life lesson? Yes. Like something meaningful to you? Yes. And that's kind of like my gold play button. As I mentioned, like put in the hard work, put in the work, put in the effort. I have over 12,000 videos. That is not exciting for people like, oh, you want 1 million subscribers? Sure. Make 12,000 videos and then come back to me. Guarantee nobody's going to do that. Right. But it does teach staying consistent, being focused. That's something, at least as far as the YouTube. As far as the teacher, as far as a life lesson, I think I think the best life lesson I have found is the one life lesson. Now I got to think about this. I think one thing is you always got to be so careful on how you treat people. Like, for instance, you don't know how people are like, I don't know the right words because my brain has started hurting because I've been talking for so long already. But you don't want to unless you've walked in somebody's shoes, don't assume anything, right? There's so many times where I've had great jokes with people and then the next day, their parents died or, they got in a car accident or, it doesn't have to be death or their girlfriend broke up with them or, they're pregnant or just everything. So, and they might not always wear it on their sleeve. Right. So I think that just understanding of, you really just got to treat people with an understanding and be compassion and empathy, is definitely kind of a life lesson. Just don't always assume that people or know the reasons why they're doing things, or what they did. Cause unless you really have an understanding of where they're coming from, it's you don't want to make those assumptions. And I think the other thing is if you really want to persuade people and get them to do what you want them to do, they have to know that you care and, and that you want the best for them. And I could definitely tell when students wouldn't listen to me. They didn't believe that I wanted to help them out. And and sometimes I could justify like through our interactions. I can see like they don't think that, I'm here to help them, or I want to help them, or I believe in them. Like you could see that like they sense that. And if they have those feelings and those thoughts, then it doesn't matter what I say or do. It's like, they're never going to listen to me or do what I want. But yeah, hopefully those some things help. All right, guys, I got to go to bed. What's going on here? All right, let's go and do a quick little thing from you guys, get you there. I have a whole thing on tips on unit and circle video. I don't have time to go on that, but just make sure you know the first quadrant for sure. Yes, of course. Definitely. Wear it proud. Wear your horrible haircut proud. Well, thank you so much, Holly. Greatly appreciate that. What is my dream job? I think I said instead of YouTube, I would go with being an architect. You're very welcome. About to take calculus for the first time in 7 years. Wow, Philip. We're watching a lot of your videos. You are very welcome. And yes, I have a ton of videos for you on that. And congratulations for going back to work. Cosine, I would have to go and take a look back in there. Sorry, my brain hurts. And I need to get through. Just want to say hi to you. Yes, of course you could. But again, then you're not going to have things in terms of 30, 60, 90. And the reason why we have the points on the unit circle is because of your 30, 60, 90, 45, 40, which are your special right triangles. So that's what the unit circle is based off of. But of course, you could break it down into further like pi over 12, pi over 18. But we don't know those angles from the special right triangles. Well, awesome. Happy to be able to help you out. Yeah, what I was getting myself into. Well, thank you, Tyler. Yes, for sure. Veritas has some great videos as well. Well, thank you very much, Nathan. If I go to haircut, you're going to like it. All right. Best of luck. Your videos help me. No cards. Study them all. You got it. Best of luck. All right, guys. Again, I'll have my final. I'll have this on the wall. Thank you again, guys, for all of your support and all of your comments. I really, really do appreciate you guys joining in. I was not planning on staying up tonight, but I stay up with you guys because it's what I really enjoy from hearing from all of you. So that video will be coming out on Wednesday. It's not a math video. It's just a kind of a thank you video from you guys. And also unboxing, going through the gold play button. I'll put it on the wall because I want you guys to be inspired by that gold play button, not to be inspired to create a YouTube channel and get 1 million subscribers, but to be inspired that you can put in your hard work, you can put in this effort, you can overcome struggles, you can you can set your mind to something and achieve it. And I wish you guys all a great week. And I will see you next week for week 104. If you guys have any math questions in the meantime, please go ahead and take a look at the link. I will try to do, hopefully I will have my computer ready to go for next week. But otherwise, you guys can also go to Discord, where the link is there as well. So, all right, guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.